Bah. I used to drink a lot. Now I talk a lot. I'll keep me on my toes. It's the Eric Miranda Show. He used to drink a lot. Now he talks a lot. He'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda Show. When he drank a lot, he would fight a lot. He might punch you in your nose. It's the Eric Miranda Show. There are people who would tell you he is crazy, but if you listen closely, he's unbelievable. He used to drink a lot, now he talks a lot. He'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda Show. Woohoo! Woohoo! I don't know if anybody can hear me. I can't hear me for some reason. There's something wrong with my headphones. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Hey, producer, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm going to tell you all something. I did a little touch-up, and it's a dead giveaway because you do the touch-up, and it doesn't touch up your neck. So I look like somebody put like a young Italian guy on my neck, on an old neck. So welcome to the Eric Miranda Show. A lot went on this week. A lot of crazy things went on, and one of the crazy things that went on is the Tom Brady roast. I don't understand roasts. I don't understand that roast. I don't understand why he did that, and I don't understand what happened to what people look like in this day and age, man. It's like, you know, we talked about the We Are the World video last week, and like Michael Jackson actually looks normal, even though he wasn't fully white yet in the We Are the World thing. He was in that in between, he was in that Diana Ross phase. But like even he actually looks huggable and normal compared to what we're seeing. Like Tom Brady, dude, like first of all, I'm a big fan. And a couple of my friends, I got in it with them because they were saying, "Oh, Peyton Manning didn't show up because he didn't want to, whoop his ass again or something like that. Didn't want to roast him again." Yeah, Manning, he doesn't have the numbers, man. You can beat Tom Brady a couple of times, sure, but it doesn't mean you're better than him because the numbers don't lie. I'm a Tom Brady fan for the most part, like to the extent that I can be a fan of anything, because I'm not really a fan. To me, like sports are fun. I don't have a lot of time for that. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather do something great than watch something great. And I watch it. I'm a Yankee fan. I'll admit that I have wasted many hours following the Yankees. But Tom Brady doesn't even look like he had cosmetic surgery. He looks like, that thing, that thing the dentist puts in your mouth to suck out all the sludge, whatever. It looks like they stuck that up Tom Brady's backside and just like pulled. He kind of looks like this. He looks like the fake filter, but only in real time. As a matter of fact, you know what, y'all? I think I got to take this filter down, man. It looks, you know what? Yeah, let's see what I look like now. Oh, there we go. See? Nice Eric Miranda wrinkles. Eric Miranda Show wrinkles. I used to drink a lot. Now I rink a lot. So look, okay, so I'm a sissy. I think I have too much feminine. I'm going to tell you why. No, this is not me coming out again. I only came out last week because I want to tell gay jokes and I don't want to get canceled for them. But, and by the way, guys, the later sunrise is totally killing my vibe. I'm going to be moving the show to Saturday mornings. It's going to be totally different. But look, you can actually see my dining room and you can see outside. You can see trees, ruins the vibe a little bit, or maybe it makes it nicer. I don't know, but let's get into this. So Tom Brady, all the jokes. Who was it? Oh my God, I'm spacing out. Who's the comedian? She did the Gronk joke. Is it Kelsey something? Producer, do you know who was the blonde comedian?
Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer. That Gronk joke was unbelievable. How'd you lose 30 million in a, blah, blah, scheme, crypto scheme? Even Gronk knew He was like, even me know that not real money. That was great. I also liked who's the other guy? Who's the guy who looks like John Aston and Freddie Mercury combined? The weird mustache dude.
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz. Yeah, Andrew Schultz joke was someone once asked Tom Brady what his favorite ring was. He said the next one. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was Giselle." I thought that was really good. So I don't know. I'm a little weirded out. Like it looks like these people. It's not even like plastic surgery anymore. It's like a cryogenic freeze or something. It's like they all look like. Wait a minute, is that filter back on, or am I that good looking? No, that's me. I look pretty good. Actually, it's because I have sunglasses on. Yeah, that's me. So they look like they're in a cryogenic freeze. Didn't Walt Disney, like the anti-Semitic Walt Disney, he's probably a hero now, right? But didn't he freeze himself? Isn't he frozen somewhere with Michael Jackson? Like, aren't they gonna have a baby in cryogen? And then like the vanity, like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened to like the afterlife and all that stuff? Now we want to put like if you think you're that important that you should come back 1,000 years later and interfere. And then you think how dumb you would be, right? Can you imagine coming back 500 years later? Like if I died in 1992, I was on a 280SX computer with 2 meg of RAM and 40 meg of hard drive. Can you imagine I woke up now, 30 years later? What the hell would I do? People are like, hey man, can I have your phone number? Yeah, look me up on Insta. Well, I don't even know what that is. Like people who didn't die are struggling to keep up with technology. Can you imagine? Can you imagine coming back? Hi, I'm Walt Disney. I'm back 500. It's like, dude, you don't know shit. Like like we uploaded your personality into the cloud. Your AI. We don't even need you, bro. But these people, they look weird. There's something weird. The whole thing. You know, I heard Tim Dillon say everything looks like a casino now. There is nothing like, think about the old roasts with like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and all those guys, Don Rickles. You know, I'd say Ross, who's the guy now? Guys, I'm having like, you know what? I'm gonna send I have to send the producer something to put up because this is how I feel right now. This is how I feel right now. I feel like I have dementia some days. And I saw a really funny TikTok video, and I am gonna play it for y'all. It was so good. It was so good. Where is it? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Come on, come on, come on. I'm not supposed to be doing this, right? Isn't that the rule?
Yeah. What's a ton of pie?
Okay, yeah, there we go. Here, that's it. How do you send this on, guys? I don't know how to send this on. I'm doing that thing I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm actually distracted, but I have to send this to the producer to have this put. Stop. Shut up. You're going to blow it, girls. All right, she's out. The girl keeps saying, once a ton of pine. Once a ton of pine. She keeps saying it, and that's how I feel. So it's not Ron Ross. He was a friend of mine. Who is the guy Ross who was the MC? Chris Flugmacher corrected me on this. Jeff Ross. Jeff Ross is the only thing that resembles the classic old style roast. The only thing, right? And then, now this is why I'm too effeminate, because everybody's laughing at all the mean-spirited jokes, right? And I do jujitsu. So when they're talking about Giselle and the jujitsu teacher, all I'm thinking is, wow, she gets to do 8 classes a day. God, I wish I could do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of getting my ass kicked. So I wish I could do that. I don't think I'm going to have an affair with Igor Gracie, but if I could do that amount of classes, I'd be really excited. But this is the thing. I loved when, what's his name again? Jeff Ross. I love when Jeff Ross is telling the joke about Bob Kraft, the happy ending joke. And Tom Brady comes up and says, don't do that again. It's like, bro, this is a roast, but I'm from Long Island and I read Roman history. That level of loyalty was massive to me. I actually loved that Tom Brady couldn't stay in roast character and actually told this guy, you don't talk shit about this old man who's my friend. I love that. My favorite thing, I love when Bill Belichick came up. I loved it. I love when he got a chance to tell a couple of jokes and defend himself. And what I really loved is when Bob Kraft, when they had the shot together. Come on. Does anybody think that was beautiful? I thought that was beautiful. It was so beautiful to me. Can't you see? I loved it. And I loved it maybe because I'm a little bit of a sissy, but that was warming to me. That, guys, I'm tired of the hate. How's that? I am tired of the hate. There's a guy, I don't want to get too into this because I don't want to embarrass my children, but my daughter decided when she was about 12 years old that she wanted to help homeless people. And she went to Target and put 2 massive packages together with her own money. And she put like protein bars and tarps and backpacks and winter coats and socks and chapstick and all this stuff. And we went around, and it was just interesting that day. We couldn't find a lot of homeless people. And we found one guy and we helped him, a guy named Michael. Poor guy it was in the middle of the winter, and he's in a plastic bag with like combat boots on. He literally didn't have pants, and we gave him all this stuff, the rain gear. And he was really grateful. And then we couldn't find anyone else. We had a female jacket, a package for a female. I ended up giving it to a guy named Rick in Tompkins Square Park. And my daughter wasn't with me. So not Tompkins Square Park, in Van Cortlandt Park. My daughter wasn't with me. And he and I called her. And I remember this guy saying, "Thank you, Kelly." And he had this big smile on his face. Well, he got in an argument with another homeless guy and was killed the other day, or about a month ago. I'm tired of it. This was the sweetest guy, down on his luck. And where's all the freaking hate coming from? Like, I hate to be like a hippie ass motherfucker, but where is it coming from? Why does everybody hate each other? I heard a story this week, and I have to be careful because some of these people are listening. So I want to keep it generic. But one friend is helping out the other friend and refuses to stop helping the friend because of some noble purpose, but then blocks the friend on Facebook because the friend he blocked is a communist. Okay, so you can help me with something at my home, but I'm a communist, so you block me on Facebook. It's gutless. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And then said to that person, "I'm a real Republican." Now, what does that mean? Does that mean when George Bush murdered hundreds of thousands of people in an illegal war that you were all for that? Why are we outsourcing our critical thinking? Why is it okay to hate people because some bullet point, some political party told you to? Do you guys realize how ridiculous that is? I'm seriously tired of it. Who has time to hate people? I mean, I understand there are people who are kind of easier to hate, but stop. Like, I'm talking about friends from high school and Facebook, and they belong to the Rotary Club or whatever. They're arguing. They want to kill each other. Why? Oh, I'm such a sissy. So I really liked the Bob Kraft thing when he, did the shots with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I loved it. Oh, I watched the Cat Williams special. I don't know if anybody saw the Cat Williams special, but the Cat Williams special was pretty amazing. He mentioned, hey, producer, do you have that video by any chance? The one of
I
the
found a good version of it. I'm going to send you a TikTok that might be able to play on your computer. You can try it, but it won't play on mine.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Why do you think that is? Let me see. Hang on. I may have it. I'm trying to avoid getting distracted by the stuff. But hang on. Okay, there's my face. Let's see where this. Oh, you know what? Hang on. All right. I'm not going to do this. Guys. So it was this tick. Give me a second. I have to do this. I have to do it. I am sorry that I'm doing this, but I'm going to YouTube, and I am going to find blind football. Okay. Blind football kid. All right. Yeah, wow, I didn't realize, guys, I didn't realize blind football was such a thing, right? Blind football kid. I got him. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to send this to me, and then we are going to watch this together. Hang on, y'all. All right. Eric Miranda, the Eric Miranda Show. Okay, let's see if I can pull this up. All right, so the Eric Miranda Show. Pull this video up, and then let's see if I can. All right. Okay, here we go. let's show this again. Now we go to StreamYard and we go to present, and then we go to share screen, and then we go to blind football kid. I put it up now. Share this here. Can you guys see that on the screen? Hang on. Yep, there we go. All right, and then I just play this, and here we go.
We already know we're gonna win.
It's that kind of confidence that continues to amaze people who watch Dylan play, because he's doing all of this blind.
You know how I can't see, and a lot of people think that a blind person can't play football.
But this courageous youngster has proven those people wrong. On the
What the fuck is going on? What's going on?
Okay, guys, I didn't expect that music thing. I hope we don't. I hope they don't shut the show down because of that, because that's somebody else's music. But this kid's playing blind, and it's like, what the heck are they doing? And I'm thinking that he's going to get the ball and he's going to run for a touchdown, and he literally just starts going in circles. So Cat Williams was on this, and he kind of boiled it down to, you can't win. I thought that was pretty interesting. But then he did something. Cat Williams got into something. Do you guys know who Cat Williams is, by the way? He like, I know you know who he is, but like he actually confused me, because we have preconceived notions of things. I mean, everybody does, right? We have preconceived notions of, like, one of them, when people talk about universal income, I hear people saying, "F that, sitting around, not working, getting paid." It's like, okay, if I call it a tax rebate, is it okay? Right? You know what I mean? So if you pay, $30,000 a year in taxes, and they give you $1,000 a month in universal income, how is that a bad thing? Right? And it gives, so if you look at the numbers, some of these like really conservative economists are like, man, we'd save so much money by getting rid of the bureaucracy, chasing people around who are on welfare. We'd give them an opportunity to get that money and make money, because they wouldn't be hiding their part-time jobs, all that stuff, right? So we have these preconceived notions of things, and they stop us from doing certain things, right? So my preconceived notion is about reparations. And Cat Williams started talking about reparations, and I'm like, that's ridiculous, just giving people all that money. And it is for other reasons. But he's like, meanwhile, we give the Ukraine, and I'm like, wait a minute. We give reparations. We give money to, we actually give money away instead of giving money to our own people. Like, and when you break it down like that, it seems really ridiculous, right? So whether you're for reparations or against reparations, it's like we give that money to the Ukrainians. Like, we're giving them billions and billions of dollars. And in some part of our mind, that's okay, that we can just take money and give it away for free, but we can't give it to our own people, especially people who have a history of being left out of things, right? So I'm kind of amazed at that. I'm amazed that my paradigm on that shifted a little bit. But I do have other reasons that I'm not really. What is that noise? I do have other reasons that I don't really think it's a good idea. I'm going to tell you what they are. In the 14th century, there was a leader named Musa Mansa. And he was an African king or emperor. And where was he from again? He was the 9th Mansa of the Mali Empire. There you go. And he was so rich that he went through his provinces, and he went through Africa and all of Egypt, giving away money. And he actually crashed the economy because of hyperinflation. There is a downside to just giving money away, printing money, giving money away. It's not even redistribution of wealth. Because we're so in debt, we're just printing it, right? And there is a consequence to that. So it's not the greatest idea. But then when you consider that we're doing it to other countries and not giving people in this country money, it's kind of nuts. I mean, that's just kind of I don't know. Anyway, so that's that topic. Now, I want to get into cults. So we were talking about cults. I was reading about cults. There's a thing about how to become a cult leader on Netflix. There's a little series right now. It's okay. I don't think it's great. I think it's okay. And the reason I think it's okay is because they're trying to cover every cult ever, and they're not getting deep enough. But a couple of things that I noticed about, first of all, I get told all week, people criticize me. Like after the show, I get criticized by people constantly. I get criticized by, you don't know what you'd really do in that situation, or like, Trump rules. I thought you were conservative. It's like, I never said that, but like things like that. But the truth is, I'm glad people don't agree with me, because if they agreed with me, that would mean I kind of want to be a cult leader, right? What's interesting about these cult leaders, everything all right? Wow, things like falling in the background. This is weird. So anyway, so the thing about cult leaders is they have to control people. They use charisma. They make people, and they look for lost souls. I don't want that. Jeez, I don't want followers. God, can you imagine being a cult leader? How depressing would that be? I have a friend from Eastern Long Island. She just got married to an older guy, and all of a sudden her friends don't see her and her family don't see her. That's like a cult tactic. So I was talking about this cult stuff with a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, that sounds like Trump supporters." And I said, "Why?" I don't know. Like, so, and then I told it to somebody else, and they said, "Oh, that sounds like liberals." And I'm like, I can't win. It's like I'm talking about actual cults where people. Now, I will tell you, one of the interesting things that I learned about cults is what was the cult? Applewhite. There was a guy named Applewhite, and he convinced his followers that in order to escape world destruction, they weren't going to go to heaven with Jesus. They were going to be taken to the outer limits of the universe in a spaceship. And they were actually preparing breathing exercises and things for space. Now, it's kind of bizarre enough that people would believe anything like that. But then you think about the fact that in order to convince somebody that you're going to save them from world destruction, you have to convince them that world destruction is going to happen to begin with. Right? Greta Thunberg. Right? Greta Thunberg is like a celebrity. She got arrested last week. She's a celebrity because she cut out of high school. And she cut out of high school to stop the earth from boiling over. Now, I just want to let you all know, I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to purport to know anything. But I know the world has been ending because of climate change since 1903. I think that was, 1913 is the first Washington Post article that published it. They've been saying we're going to boil, we're going to freeze. It just keeps going back and forth. But once people are convinced that the world's going to end, I guess it's easier to convince them that you can save them from it ending, if that makes sense. So I'm not really sure where to put that, but it's like the world's ending. I'm just exhausted with it. Can everybody just stop fighting? Can't we all just get along? Who said that? Rodney King? Why can't we just all get along? But the world's always ending. Like, you remember Y2K? Most of the people on here probably remember Y2K. And the Y2K thing was interesting because for the younger people listening, Y2K was when they thought the switch to zero on the date was going to make all the computers crash because it was going to look like it was before computers were invented. And by the way, that did happen on my Apple computer one time. It accidentally got set to 1968 and it couldn't function because it didn't exist in 1968. So they fixed all that. But then if you read about the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, if you're cynical, go to the year 999. Y1K, right? They thought the world was going to end. People were like, oh my God, it's the year 1000. What happens next? Well, 1001, chronologically speaking, but they couldn't get it. We made the number up. We said the birth of Jesus or the resurrection of Jesus or the whatever was where we're going to start this calendar. It gets to 1000. Everybody freaks out. But by the way, we weren't always in a base 10 system. So 1000 shouldn't mean anything because if we were in a base 6 system, 600 would have been it? I don't know. But according to the Mayan calendar, what is it? 1000 AD is 10 .8.12.11.14. Sounds like a good day for the world to end to me. So the whole thing with the doom and gloom, the people, I'm reading an article in the New York Times a few weeks ago, and it's telling me that the kids who are involved in all these protests, and again, I don't live in Israel. I don't really know much about Hamas. I don't know much about Bibi Netanyahu, BenjaminNetanyahu.com, whatever his name is. I don't know anything about these people, and I really don't care, honestly. I really care more about what's going on in the local school system here. But I guess what I'm fascinated by is in this article, they were saying that these kids believe there's no hope. They don't believe there's an economic future for them. They think the world's going to blow up from global warming. They'll latch on to anything that they can latch onto to belong to something, to feel empowered. I was reading a book called Untangled about raising teenage girls. And one of the things I learned in the book is that when we don't allow that obstreperous kid at 14 to fight back and test boundaries, we're actually taking away their ability to navigate the world outside. So then when you watch these kids who have these overprotective parents, like, do as I say, not as I do, children should be seen, not hurt. And then we wonder when somebody says, hey, you want to go blow up a library in a college? And they're like, they don't know how to say no because they were told they don't have a voice. Children should be seen and not heard. I don't love that my children and I argue, but I allow them to voice their opinions. We have to allow that. So when we get, these Soros-funded protests or these, again, like, unfortunately, like right now I'm seeing a lot of that, but there's got to be some right side, like, the Koch brothers, right? I'm sure they funded some shit, right? Like, whatever. It doesn't matter which side. I don't want to pick sides. Whatever side it is, we tell our children you should be seen and not heard. We helicopter parent them. We don't let them talk back. We think there's something wrong with them when they're testing boundaries in a safe environment with us versus out there in the world. And then when we don't allow them to do it, they get out in the world. Somebody says, hey, you want to join a cult? And they're like, sure. My parents pissed me off that much, or I feel that little about myself that I don't have a voice to stick up for myself. This is heavy stuff. So when we talk about this generation of kids and how meaningless life seems to them, and they're lazy, they don't want to work, they all want to live on TikTok, all of these things, do they raise themselves or did we raise them? Like the fact that we won't take responsibility for this, right? I mean, think about Kurt Cobain, that loser. Yeah, no. Oh, he's a genius. He was a spokesman for a generation. Really? He had a little baby and he killed himself. And I'm not saying that his situation, drugs, it was like the guy was on drugs. He was irresponsible. I'm sorry. I understand that some people have mental illness that drive him to that. He wasn't one of them. That was like, the guy was a clown. He didn't write lyrics. He complained about his parents. So why wouldn't his daughter now, who knows that he was idealized for blaming everybody for their lives, why would she be motivated to do shit? We have created a culture where we can blame everything on everyone else. I know. I'm usually trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny right now. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. When our kids join cults, it's our fault. I really believe that. I guarantee you, as I go deeper into this cult thing, I'm going to find out. Like, by the way, religion you got to stand for something or you fall for anything, right? Isn't that the expression? But I'm going to tell you, if you tell your kids stand for something, that's one thing. If you demand that they stand for what you stand for, you're asking for trouble. Because if I saw my parents as hypocrites, and I didn't, I saw them as human, and they were pretty cool, and they didn't give us any heavy-handed, like, you got to do it this way. I didn't get that kind of thing. But if I saw them as hypocrites, and I saw the contradictions, and they weren't willing to own it, and they feigned that they were perfect, and I saw that, why would I believe anything? Why would I feel safe? And why wouldn't I be like, well, these people are telling me they can show me a better way. They can show me a truthful life. Why wouldn't I become a part of a cult? Right? That's what I think. I mean, if I actually respected my parents enough, and I did dumb things. People who know me know that I did dumb things, but I respected my parents enough that I wouldn't want to do anything to disappoint them. I am going to be very careful how I say this, but I have some people close to my family, I'm going to put it that way, that belonged to a religious organization. And I went to stay with one of these family friends, and I ended up becoming part of the religious organization. How long do you think that lasted? How long do you think I was able to belong to a cult? I was able to belong to a cult until somebody told me how to wear my hair, what to listen to. Led Zeppelin is devil music. And then I was like, yeah, I don't agree with you. Oh, yeah? Well, maybe you're not doing the Lord's work. And I was like, yeah. And maybe at 15 years old, I'm 180 pounds and I can beat the shit out of you. Like, I don't do cults. I'm not easily manipulated. And I'm grateful. And the reason I'm not easily manipulated is because my dad wasn't easily manipulated. And I had a pretty honest relationship with him. So this cult thing freaks me out. The idea of people just, and by the way, I found out, I didn't realize that most of the Jim Jones suicides were actually murders. I didn't know that. They were spraying poison down kids' throats. They found like wounds in people's necks from like syringes. That thing went down weird. I didn't know that a U.S. senator or congressman from California got killed on the runway. Jim Jones had a U.S. politician killed. This was like serious stuff. So one of the techniques they use is cutting you off from your family, right? You can't communicate with people in the outside world, kind of like when the Catholic Church wouldn't let the monks who were transcribing things read other books. Books were banned because books had information that may say, right? They don't want you to create doubt. One of the most fascinating techniques I came across is a woman named Amanda Montell. What bothers me about Amanda Montell, she's the author of the book Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism. And what freaks me out about her is she's really young and she's on this documentary talking. She's so smart and so baby-faced. I'm like, what did I do with my life? How do people get that smart that young? It was pretty amazing. Anyway, this is what she said. She said, one of the ways that you keep people from going out of bounds when you're a cult leader is a thought-terminating cliche. She says a thought-terminating cliche is a hallmark cult leader technique. It describes a sort of stock expression aimed at shutting down independent thinking. Some of the examples people gave, it's all the media's fault. Don't let yourself be ruled by fear. The one that came to my mind is, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? A thought-terminating cliche is a hallmark cult leader technique. And we have cult leaders in this country who want you to buy the narrative. The problem with conspiracy theories is we don't know which ones are true, usually until it's not important anymore. Like, we're not funding the moon landing right now through our government. So the fact that it may not have happened doesn't matter that much. But a lot of information, folks. Say what you want. By the way, I'm going to tell you, a lot of information about the vaccines for COVID, a lot of it just ended up not true. And then if I say that, I'm called an anti-vaxxer. Well, I have my polio shot, and I have my mumps shot, my measles shot, all that stuff. I don't want that stuff. Apparently that stuff works. But people were concerned about the warp speed. And by the way, for all you Republicans and all you right-wingers, Donald Trump created that vaccine. People forget that. People forget how proud he was to tell people that he got vaccinated. Whether he did or not, I don't know. But sorry, Trumpers. Warp speed's his, man. I just saw people signing off. I love it. It's if you look at the cult documentary, and if you look at, read a little bit about some of these cults, it's really kind of bizarre because there is an element. Think about this. My daughter's boyfriend's mother told him that he can't get married till he's 25 because his frontal lobe is not developed. And that's why we recruit kids for the military when they're 17. I guarantee you, if you tried to recruit people for the military at 26, 27, they'd be like, yeah, I don't really believe in your wars. Yeah, rah-rah to a certain extent, but dying on a beach, on the Salerno beachhead. World War II is unique, I guess. But, like dying in the jungles, like people are not signing up at 27. They're signing up as kids. And where are their parents? Like, I'm not going to tell my children they shouldn't serve in the military, but I'm certainly not going to, start singing. Is there a pro-military song? I'm to rock and roll. It's all anti-military shit. But you know what I mean? So where are the parents when the kids are checking out? When the kids, like, this is the thing. By the way, I looked for a protest all week. Where do you find, can somebody please tell me in the comments, where do you find protests? I want to find out not what protest happened yesterday. I want to find out what's happening this week, like this week in protest. There should be a freaking newspaper. I'm telling you, like, there's a secret code that they must know that I want to, like, check them out and, like, report on them because I can't find them. If anybody knows where I can find a Hamas protest, an Israeli protest, somebody please tell me. But if you don't like what's going on in college campuses, if you have children college age, what are we doing as parents to prevent this from happening? And again, I'm not saying the protesting in general is a bad thing. I'm talking about people who don't like the violence, things like that. And again, there are laws when you protest. You can't kidnap people and lock them in a library. You can't stop people from walking down a pathway with their kids. This is stuff that I've read about. And again, I don't know that that's rampant. I don't know. But if you don't like what's going on in this generation, and you're a parent of this generation, how do we blame everybody else for it? What is my responsibility? Just asking. Don't let yourself be ruled by fear. Oh, this is really good. So I wanted to look this up. Somebody told me that the use of the term conspiracy theory, like, increased like thousands of fold in newspapers after the Kennedy assassination. And I looked it up and I came across something a little bit more interesting. It said, now this was debunked by the AP. I mean, aren't they the people who start a lot of the official narrative? It says, claim. The term conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorists were created by the Central Intelligence Agency following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy as a way of discrediting people who doubted the government's official reports, which I think is many. AP's assessment, false. Recorded use of the phrase conspiracy theory dates back to at least 1863 and was notably invoked in reports following the 1881 shooting of then-President James A. Garfield, more than 60 years before the CIA was established. An academic review of the digital library JSTOR found the term conspiracy theorist had been published at least in the year before Kennedy's death. Oh, really? At least in the year before Kennedy's death. It's funny because Halliburton started preparing to do the pipeline security in Iraq at least in the year before Saddam Hussein was accused of having weapons of mass destruction. That timing just seems too good to be true. Hey, like, if the CIA did kill Kennedy, do you think they thought about it that day? Like, hey, guys, I have an idea. Let's go get a drink and let's go kill the president. Like, I'm sure it was in the works, if you believe that's what happened. So even in their debunking, and when I say they, there aren't even sides. It's just a free. I don't think anybody, half the people who are making things crazy, I don't even think they're doing it on purpose. I actually think that the thing is just coming undone. So we need peace, man. We need unity. If you read the Gaelic Wars, which is Gaul is modern day France. When it was conquered by Caesar, it was he divided the tribes. There were like 10, 15 tribes in the area of Alesia, and Vercingetorix tried to get them together, and he was sowing discord. They're sowing discord in people in the United States. We're divided. If I sign on to a political party at this point, how can I go along with everything that party stands for? Look at the platforms. So what happens if you're a guy like me who wants to leave a woman's right to choose in place, but you also want your buddies to be able to carry their guns legally when they go into a situation? And you want people to be able to get married if they're gay, but you don't want people to have to use pronouns that somebody else demands you make because that violates the First Amendment. Where do I live? So when you tell me you're a Democrat or a Republican, I'm immediately skeptical at this point of how I can navigate these conversations, because I'm bound to disappoint you. If you're really liberal, you're going to think I'm a right winger. If you're really right wing, you're going to think I'm a liberal. That's all there is to it, because both are true. What does it even mean? All right, so let's get back to the communist friend and the real Republican friend. The real Republican friend. You're a communist, right? So let's boil that down to, let's just say in a worst case scenario, this person's a socialist. Do you realize that we have had public schooling in the United States for well over a century? And it was damn good schooling until it got taken over by the crazies. So we've basically lived, at least partially, in a socialist system for over a century. Is public school, is that not socialism? It's indoctrination to a certain extent. It used to be a patriotic indoctrination. Now maybe it's a more woke ideology that's less patriotic. But isn't that socialism? I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Privatization. My daughter and I, it took us 7 hours to get from Carlisle, England to Manchester. We could have driven it in 2 hours and 15 minutes. We got there after somebody drove us well over an hour from Whitehaven to Carlisle, because the private train systems, a log falls on the track and they argue over who's going to move the tree off the track. Elliot Kelly in the house. I wonder if Elliot's got anything on Drake. So anyway, so I want you to think about that. So it took me 7 hours by train to get to Manchester Airport from Whitehaven, or from Carlisle, after driving an hour from Whitehaven, because it was public. So if you're going to knock a socialist, at least be realistic about the fact that we don't live necessarily in a free market society. At this point, we live in a corporatist society, but think about it. Are we not socialist to a certain extent? Like, this is what I mean. Are we even thinking about, like, again, universal income? Universal income. F that. These lazy bastards. You're making that up. You don't even know what it is. Read about it. Hey, producer, what did Andrew Yang call it? He rebranded it.
The freedom dividend.
The freedom dividend, right? Isn't that more palatable? You know what, y'all? I've got about 15 minutes left. I am going to invite Elliot Kelly to come on with us. And I want to see if he's got, but by the way, listen to how racist I am. And by the way, I think white people using the N-word is coming back. They got close to the Tom Brady roast. There was some dicey jokes. And then Cat Williams claims that if we pay reparations, white people can go out in the street the next day and use the N-word. I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, who wants to? But it is kind of funny. What a theory. Let's get Elliot to come on. Elliot Kelly in the house. Elliot Kelly in the house. Elliot, check your oh, maybe I have to send it to his email. Elliot, do you have are you able to get that from your phone? Let me go to my Gmail. Let me have him check his email. Yeah. Oh my God. You know, guys, Duolingo's harassing me. Elliot Kelly. There we go. I'm not going to tell you what his email address is. Yo. All right, Elliot, if you're listening still, I just sent you a link to your email to click in. All right. Yeah, Duolingo's harassing me, guys. Duolingo never stops harassing me. It just basically tells me all day, you're behind, you suck this week. I can't take it. Let's see if Elliot pops in. I want to see if he's got a thing on Drake. Has anybody been following the Drake Kendrick Lamar thing? Apparently they're in a feud, and then Kendrick Lamar, hosted an aerial shot of Drake's house, and then his bodyguard got shot. It sounds to me like two little nerds who want to be gangsta, like 50 Cent and Biggie Smalls and all those guys. I think they're playing like gangster. I don't think it's real, because I think they have the same manager. And like an idiot, all right, let me get off Drake for a second. I was just advised by a friend of mine that my ADD kicked in. All right, I'm getting back to cults. I'm getting back to the truth. I'm getting back to the fact that I'm just going to say it. If you think Donald Trump is a cult leader, that's fine. But let's try this. Let's look at this. Jim Jones pretended to create miracles. Like, what he would do is he would have people come in and say, hey, I have cancer. But they knew Jim Jones. They were friends. They were actually his followers already. And they'd like put like a chicken liver in their mouth or something. And he'd go like, I heal ye. Ha, ha. Jim Jones wasn't Chinese, but maybe that was Sung Myung Moon. But like, he does like some karate Jesus shit. And they spit out a chicken gizzard, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's healed. So he had to perform miracles. And there was some other dude, he would post pictures before Photoshop of him levitating, and people believed he could levitate, or as one of my friends was called, flotation. So he was doing levitation, right? So you need to create miracles to be a cult leader. Now try this on for size. If you want to accuse Donald Trump of being a cult leader, I don't know what miracles he's done other than trying to keep himself out of prison right now. But what if you had a baby? I'm going to get canceled for this. I know it. What if you had a baby and you wanted a boy so badly? You just wanted a boy. Maybe you had two girls already and you love them, but you want a boy. And the baby's born, and it's a girl. And then some Jesus-like dude comes in and says, I make ye a boy. Bing! Right? Little thing pops out. Bang! You're a boy. Or better yet, you wanted a girl. Bing! It's a girl. That's a miracle. That's a Jesus level miracle. And now it's happening every day. It's happening every day. People are, and I'm not judging them. I have people, family members. This is not disrespect, but don't tell me that is not a way. Tell me that's not a miracle. If you can join a group that says you can be a furry, do you guys know what furry? You know what? Let's not pick on transgender. And all you right-wing Christian friends of mine, if transgender people are sinners, you better start hanging out with them because Jesus would have. Let's start with that. But furries, do you guys know what furries are? Furries are people who actually are demanding litter boxes in schools. They want to use litter boxes instead of bathrooms because they insist their kittens or wolves. That's not happening on the right, guys. That is not Donald Trump's cult. That is the cult of the left. And I'm just telling you, and you guys attack me. I know I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the emails, text me, you fucking right wing, blah, 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 blah. I'm not any of that. But what I see is when people are desperate for identity and somebody says, hey, you can be all that you can be, not in the army, but on the left. You can be an orange kitten. You can be a boy or a girl or they or them. I told you my pronoun is thou, as in if thou thinks I give a fuck about your pronouns, you're wrong. So there is an element of cult going on in American politics. I see it more on the left right now than on the right. Because I look at the right, you know, the word radical comes from root, right? Like radish is a root vegetable. So it's actually trying to preserve things. So right now, the Trump guys are radicals. But I don't think radicals are looking for an identity. I think they're trying to preserve an identity. And I think as the progressives move forward in the identity, I think that's where you need the miracles, man. Like you need miracles. And if I can be, you know, think about this. Elizabeth Warren catches a lot of shit for saying she was Native American. I don't know, man. That sounds feasible at this point. It sounds like she could be like 100% Native American if she really wants, because that's how she identifies, right? But somehow that's not okay. So I can be a cat, but I can't be a Native American. Think about that. So I can change species. I can change species. I don't know why that word's so funny and so difficult. I can change my species, my gender, but not my nationality. I was thinking of going to Mexico and jumping the border and getting all that money. But Duolingo should keep harassing me because I'd be better at Spanish and I'd be saying, oh, sí, señor. I come over, I come home. Am I getting canceled for that? All right, dudes, listen. I'm looking to have Katie Huffman on next week. Katie Huffman is a Tony Award winner. She has been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She was 10 seasons on Iron Chef America. She's been on all the soap operas. She won the Tony Award for The Producers. She was nominated for a Tony for Will Rogers Follies, which I think is the show Donald Trump bought so Marla Maples could take Katie's spot. And they had dinner. I would like to talk to her about that. Not politically, but just that's an interest. I think she's met all the presidents from George Herbert Walker Bush on. She did a movie that was directed by John Turturro where she's stabbed by Christopher Walken, like during the song Delilah, which I think is pretty cool. I'd love to talk to her about that. I scored a web series that she was in. I actually was nominated for an award, and I flew out to LA on a private jet with her, which was really cool. Interesting lady, fun lady, good friend. So I think that I think it's confirmed. I think when I said to her today, hey, you on next week? I think her answer was probably with a question mark. So there's a probably for Katie Huffman next week, which should be really, really fun. What I need y'all to do, and this is a project for people listening, can you all please, if you can find me survivors of cults, and I don't mean like mediocre cults, because the cult that I was in for like 3 months before I told the guy I'd beat his ass if he told me what to do with my life. Oh, God. By the way, I went to the Church of Scientology with a friend, and we did the intake, the personality test, and she got invited to be a Scientologist, and I didn't. I mean, I was kind of disappointed. Not that I wanted to join, but I wanted to belong. I wanted to be invited to the party. Doesn't mean I was going to show up. But I don't think my personality is good. Like my mother-in-law, whom I love, wants me to cut my hair. And I was going to cut it. And I think I'm actually not cutting it because she wants me to. I think she asked me if anyway, Louise may see this, so I need to be careful because she'll punch me in the nose. She'll punch me in the nose. But if you all can help me find people who survived cults. I'm talking about like, the Church of God cult. I met a woman in Ohio, and I'm not going to say her name. My daughter and I met her she was working in a hotel, and she belonged to the Church of God. It was crazy. Like, if you needed a job, they got you a job. But if you tried to defect, she ended up rebelling on her mother, who never one of her sisters died because they didn't believe in transfusions. They sent her to the hospital a little bit too late. They finally decided, hey, the sister dies. And then the idiot head of the Church of God says from the pulpit, she died because they didn't keep their faith. This girl was going to come on the show, and I think she got cold feet because apparently these gangsters go out and try to hurt people. I want to meet somebody, and I can do I think I can do the blurry voices. I'm going to have, the Kanye butt crack voice, the porn star. I mean, the witness protect. What is it? Gangland. I think I can do that voice. So if we want to, if anybody knows anybody who survived the cult, seriously, I'll blur their face. I'll change their voice. I want to interview people who belong to cults. Now, I'm sure I can find some of the high-profile people, but right now, man, I'm trying to keep this organic street level, And I want to talk about people who, like, look, these cults, man, people kill themselves. The Jim Jones thing, and what was the other one I was talking about? This is real stuff, man. And this is the stuff I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Jimmy Page. That's bullshit. Everybody talks about Jimmy Page. Somebody told me one of the best ways for me to make this podcast successful is to play guitar. God, it's boring. But I'm going to do it anyway. But I'm going to do this once. And the only reason I'm playing this guitar right now is because on my on the post, I had the guitar on the picture, and I figured somebody may watch and be disappointed if I don't. So here we go. There's your guitar hero right there. So anyway, get me some cult members. If you know anybody who's fascinating, weird jobs, people who make ceramic tiles for spaceships, anything like that, I want to have them on the show. I want to interview them. I want to know what I want to hear from real people. I don't want to hear from celebrities. I mean, I want to hear from celebrities. I love celebrities, but I want to hear from the average person, not the average, but nobody's average. I want to hear from people who are making the world move, but don't have to get credit for it all the time, says the man in front of a microphone with a camera and sunglasses. But you know what I'm saying? I want to know the real people, like who builds the bridge, like that bridge that went down in DC, in Maryland. Who's fixing that bridge? I mean, I know people are fixing that bridge. Who is fixing that bridge? I want to talk to them. I want to know what that was like. I want to know what it's like to take those girders and those big cement piles and pull them out of the way so you can rebuild a bridge. I want to know who. A friend of mine did all of that high-rise building in New York City, the tallest building in New York now. The engineer who did, or the architect who did the plumbing lines. You gotta hear about this. Like what it takes to put plumbing in the tallest building in New York is nuts. I want to hear from him. I'm going to call him actually. His name is Dallas. Interesting dude. That's what the Eric Miranda Show wants to be. Tune in next week, 8 p.m. for Katie Huffman. And then I'm moving to Saturday mornings because I do Muay Thai on Thursdays and Tuesdays. And by the time this happens, I'm tired and I get kind of like, ugh. And then I start like whining about like Tom Brady being mean or Bill Kratt. What, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I love y'all. We have, okay, anybody have a song request before I go? We have 40 seconds, 50 seconds. Come on. Who's got, I just want to let you guys know this, man. I got to tell you guys that right there. And I think Flugmacher actually may have signed off after he said this because he was afraid. He was afraid I was going to crumble. But he's right. I got to stay on topic. All right. I'm truly, who did that song? Truly in love with you, girl. Come on, man. I want to use
Lionel
my
Richie.
vibrato. Is that Lionel Richie? Oh man,
Yeah.
dude, he's the cool. I forgot that was him. He Spanish Fly. No, just Spanish Fly. Somebody just said Spanish Fly. Isn't that an Eddie Van Halen guitar solo? Oh, because I have the guitar. Oh no, Corey. I'm like my son said, Dad, you should get on the show. You should do your opening, and then you should shred. I can actually shred, folks. I'm actually a decent shredder on guitar, but there are dudes like who I know who watch this show who like that. That's all they do is speed. By the way, did I show you guys this new ring? No, this new ring. Got this in Naples, amber. I like the fact that the bugs are in it. I think we talked about that last week, though. All right, what am I gonna sing? I want to sing. Hang on. I don't know a lot of covers, man. Oh, I have to get the Jesus dude off there. Is that me who did that? All right, there you go. All right, here we go. Can you all hear that? You know I can be found sitting all alone. If you don't come around, at least be his telephone. Don't be cruel to all that's true. Don't stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me. You know I want you to say, don't be cruel to all that's true. Don't want no other love, baby, it's you I'm thinking of. Don't stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me. You know I want you to say, don't be cruel to all that's true. Why shouldn't we be apart? I really love you, baby, cross my heart. Don't be cruel to all that's true. Good night, y'all. Love y'all. See you next week. Katie Huffman, 8 p.m. Thursday.